And good morning and welcome to the WSJM video live stream. It's our video program. We have it every weekday morning here on Facebook and YouTube. And thank you very much for joining us. If you ever miss any part of this show, or you just want to share this with somebody else, you can always do it by going to our Facebook or YouTube video archives. Just type in your social media platform of choice, go to the search bar, type in WSJM, go to videos. Simple as that. That's all you got to do. All right, our guest this morning is Robin McGinnis. She is the CEO, the Chief Executive Officer of Caring Connection here in Southwest Michigan. And I'm going to ask you first, I'm sorry, I should have done this before the show. Make friends with that microphone. Grab it, own it.
Okay.
Bring it up like, yeah. Okay. There you go. Perfect.
Right. Good.
Perfect.
Okay.
My engineer yells at me if I don't do that.
I understand that. I won't yell at you, though.
No. Thank you. Good morning and welcome to the studios.
Thank you for the invite. Appreciate
Absolutely.
It.
And Robin, you've been in the building before, but you've not been in the studio.
That's correct.
Well, thanks for joining us. We appreciate you getting up and bringing your own coffee and everything else. If there's anything that you need, more coffee or anything, water, Kleenex, let us know.
Thank you.
And we'll take care of it.
That.
Absolutely. We are going to talk with her a little bit about some of the situation that a lot of nonprofits are finding themselves in these days under the current the new administration. I think is part of that.
Yes,
and a big part of that, and it's causing a lot of change, but it's also causing a lot of uncertainty in a very quick manner. So we'll talk about that in a few minutes. We've got to get to news. We'll also learn a little bit about you and find out who you are. We always ask for the superhero origin stories.
Okay.
Where are you from, where you been, all that other stuff. But where did you come in from this morning, and give us a quick traffic update? How are the roads?
I came in from South Haven, and Blue Star was empty. It was lovely. Little dark.
No turkey, no deer?
Oh, there were lots of turkeys. No deer, thank goodness. Kept my bright sun.
Where are most of the turkeys in that area? I usually see them as you go by the multicolored mailboxes, or you know what I'm talking about.
They're mostly near Haber Shore,
okay,
in the wooded area, and they jump out as you're driving along.
Yeah, they shouldn't do that. They are so cute, though. All right, we'll get back in just we'll talk about turkeys later. We've got more important stuff to talk about. So if you have any questions or comments during the video program, let us know. We've got if you're logged into the video live stream on YouTube or Facebook, you can put your questions or comments in there, and we'll address them as we get to them. It's 7:04. We'll come back in just a moment. We're wrapping up ABC News right now, and we'll have more from Robin McGinnis from Caring Connection in just a moment.
A key part of the Shivaratri festival is the freedom to smoke marijuana, an act normally punishable in Nepal by prison sentences for up to a month for users and 10 years for those caught selling it. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
7:05, it's the WSJM Morning Show. Good morning and welcome to Wednesday, February 26th. I'm Ken Lundberg. We have our video live stream guest in the studio as well. It's Robin McGinnis. She's from Caring Connection, the Chief Executive Officer. We'll begin that interview in just a few moments here on the radio and on our video live stream. If you want to tune in and get the uninterrupted conversation on our video live stream, just go to YouTube, go to Facebook, type in WSJM, and look at the live stream video that we have going there right now. For right now, the temperature outside is 34 degrees in Benton Harbor. St. Joseph, 34 degrees. South Haven, 33 degrees. Cloudy skies and 33 in Dowagiac right now. Very mild temperatures for this time of year, and we're going to continue the mild temperatures through the day. Mostly cloudy skies today. There is a 60% chance of rain showers affecting us. The high today around 50 degrees.
Love it.
I feel good about that. Southeast winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Maybe we can coax the sun to come out like it did yesterday, and it'll be beautiful. Tonight's forecast, mostly cloudy skies, a 20% chance of rain, low around 35, and northwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow's forecast, Thursday, we're looking at mostly cloudy skies and cooler conditions, a 30% chance of scattered rain or snow showers, a high around 40, and west winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. As we get into the weekend, we're going to keep the partly sunny and mild conditions on Friday. It could get up to 53 on Friday. Saturday, partly sunny, a chance of rain or snow showers, breezy, a little bit cooler, high around 33, and Sunday, the high is going to be around 35 degrees. That's the forecast. Looking at the news that we have from the WSJM newsroom, barely 2 months after swearing in a new police chief, the city of South Haven is starting the search again for a new police chief. The surprise announcement came from the city last night. City manager Kate Hosier saying that police chief Kevin Swope has resigned from his position for personal reasons, effective immediately. The city named Sergeant Pat Carlotto interim chief of police until a replacement can be found. Carlotto is a 25-year veteran of the force and served as interim chief during the previous search. The city is currently reevaluating candidates from the previous search, since it was so recent, to find Swope's replacement. The city's statement on the situation thanked Swope for his brief tenure, stating that he made positive changes during his short time with the department. The Benton Harbor Soup Kitchen has been notified they must leave their current location, and they have just 2 months to find a new place to operate. Board President K.C. Gast says the Salvation Army owns the Soup Kitchen's current location at 233 Michigan Street, the former YMCA building, and he was notified about 2 weeks ago of the lease termination. He says he understands the Salvation Army's position because the building is over 100 years old and in need of some major repairs.
At some point, somebody, in this case the Salvation Army, had to make the decision, do we put millions and millions into this building and try and keep this landmark afloat for a while longer, or would that money be better spent on helping people? And they made the right call.
What the operators of the Soup Kitchen will do next is unclear. Gast says they have the resources to buy and build a new facility, but finding available property with the right zoning in downtown Benton Harbor has become an ongoing challenge for years. He says a soup kitchen is not something you can just move to the outskirts of town either, because then you leave the clientele behind.
We are unique in that respect because we provide a place for social gathering, and a lot of our guests desperately need that. Without that piece, without the opportunity to sit down and talk to other people who are not going to judge them, who are not going to in any way hassle them, they run into problems. They need that socialization. So we feed people, and we provide them a safe, warm, dry place to gather.
The Soup Kitchen was started by St. Joseph Catholic in 1980. Gast says they've been serving an estimated 40 to 50,000 meals a year. He says they're actively following a couple of leads and is hopeful one will pan out into their new home. No word yet on how other services might be impacted at the Salvation Army. Other services they provide there, the men's homeless shelter, utility and food assistance, education, and referrals. A fundraising campaign to turn the site of a former school building into a park has begun in the city of Niles. Niles History Center Director Christina Arsenault tells us the Ferry Street School was built in 1867, initially as a school for students of color. Over the years, it was used for various purposes, but then it burned down in 2023.
Once that happened, in order to preserve what was left, we started working with the Ferry Street Resource Center, who had occupied the building, and trying to come up with a plan to save what was left and preserve the history of that building and do some interpretation with it.
Arsenault says the idea of turning the site into a park that preserves what is left of the Ferry Street School came out of those talks. Because the original facade of the school is the only thing left standing, that will serve as an entryway of sorts for the new park.
We're hoping that it'll be a park that'll be used by everybody in the Niles community. People can come in, almost anywhere, and it can host small music shows, concerts, or family reunions, and just be a general place where people can come and learn a little bit about the history of this important building.
The new Ferry Street School Memorial Park will include seating and a stage. Arsenault says the city already has some funding lined up for the project, but a crowdfunding campaign is also seeking another $15,000. If that crowdfunding goal is met, the Michigan Economic Development Corporation says they'll kick in another $15,000 to bring the project up to its $130,000 goal. We have a link for more information at our website, WSJM.com. If all goes well, ground could be broken on the new park this summer. That's a look at some of the news that we're following in the WSJM newsroom. We have more to talk about. We have a special guest in studio right now, and we'll just give her a brief introduction, and then we'll get into sports and a couple more messages. But first off, let's say hello and good morning to Robin McGinnis,
Good morning.
Chief Executive Officer of Caring Connection. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for the invite. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Make friends with that microphone right up and close.
Okey-doke.
2 inches. There you
All
go.
right.
Look at that.
Okay.
Again, a radio professional in the making right there.
I'm excited.
Robin, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. Tell us a little bit about what Caring Connection is, and then we'll get into your background in a couple of minutes.
Caring Connection is a social service agency that has been embedded in Southwest Michigan since 1891.
Yeah.
So we have a long history.
Yes.
We've had multiple names. And we originally started out as Child and Family. We were an orphanage. We were an adoption agency, foster care. The Michigan adoption train that came from the southern states to bring children to Michigan to work on the farms, that's the origin of Caring Connection.
Wow.
So it's a wonderful history. You can read all about it on our website. Right now, we provide specialty services mostly for seniors in Southwest Michigan. And so we cover Van Buren, Berrien, and Cass counties. We also run the Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault Center here, which we serve up to 23 people in an emergency shelter. We have go out for people who are sexually assaulted or there's a domestic violence situation and they end up in the emergency room. We have a go out team. Free services for anybody who needs it.
Wow. That's a lot.
It's a lot.
That's a lot. So we'll unpack a lot of that, and we'll talk a little bit about how you're raising money. You've got a couple of fundraisers that are coming up. There's the Women's Auxiliary, and then there's the fundraiser for the Empowerment Center that's coming up in April. So we'll talk about those two events. But you also are very worried about your financial situation. So we'll talk about that and an open letter you sent to the community last week.
Yes.
And we'll talk about that. We had it here on WSJM in the news, but we'll explore a little bit more here in a few minutes right here on the WSJM Morning Show. Right now we've got sports. Dave Wolf has been out, so Brett Witkowski is filling in. We're going to continue our conversation on the video live stream right now, and we'll be back on the radio in just a couple of minutes.
With a look at sports, I'm Brett Witkowski.
And we're continuing our interview with Robin McGinnis, Chief Executive Officer of Caring Connection. More than 125 years.
Yes.
I was looking at your website, and by the way, beautiful website.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, the information that you lay out there is just fabulous. We always start our interviews, not always, but most of the time we start our interviews here by understanding a little bit more about the people who are in the chair that you're in. So, Robin, give us your origin story. Where are you from, and how long you been here?
I'm originally from Chicago.
Okay.
I'm a clinical social worker. I've worked in a variety of different settings, whether it's been federally qualified health centers, human services, you name it. I've done a lot of different things. Yeah. My family has had a home up in the South Haven community since the 30s. Wow. I wasn't born yet, just want to let you know that.
Thank you.
And so as a child, we came up here all the time. Yeah. And during COVID, like so many people, we stayed in our vacation home. Yeah. And my husband said, let's just stay here full time.
Nice.
So we've relocated full time to South Haven. I reached out to what was originally called, when I called them, the Avenue Family Network, now Caring Connection, to volunteer at the domestic violence shelter. And they called me and said, well, we actually have a job for you. So I started out doing program services, as well as I did all the grant writing and still do. Yeah. And now I am the CEO.
Wow. They're fortunate to have you. That's great.
Well, it's a wonderful organization.
Yeah, very much so. And so I'm curious about the family home. The 1930s is when they
1930s. My grandparents had a place in South Haven on the beach.
Did they build it?
I don't have that history. No,
okay.
It was with my grandfather and his two sisters.
Okay.
So we were up there as a kid. I have wonderful family photos of when my mom was a teenager. So
did you? So you're not still in that home?
No.
Okay.
That home got sold in the early 60s, okay. And then we purchased another home, my husband and I.
Do you ever go by the old home?
I can't remember exactly where it was. My brother and
it's
I.
By the beach.
We knew it was on North Beach somewhere, but we couldn't figure it out.
Oh my gosh! Yes. That's fun. Well, that's nice, and we're glad to have you here. Always been in Chicago, otherwise?
Yes,
okay.
Full-time Chicagoan. Yes.
All right. You get back there often?
Often. Yes.
Okay.
I have 3 children there.
Oh, nice. Uh-huh. What do they do?
Two are clinical social workers.
Okay.
One runs the Child Advocacy Center in the South Suburbs. One is the COO of a huge child welfare agency.
Okay.
And the youngest daughter is a hairstylist.
Very nice.
Yes.
Very nice. It's in the blood there, the
It is,
social work.
unfortunately.
Yeah. All right. And so Caring Connection. And again, how many different things are under the umbrella organization of Caring Connection?
Caring Connection really.
Would you call it an umbrella organization?
It is.
Okay.
We provided a lot of different services.
Okay.
So we have 3 adult day centers, one in Benton Harbor, one in Paw Paw, and one in South Haven. And this provides services for people with developmental delays, mental health issues, dementia, where they need to be somewhere during the day because it's so stressful for caregivers that they really need a place where their loved ones can go and they feel safe and taken care of. So we have 3 of those centers. We can serve. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Time-wise, I've got to get us back on the air, but we'll come back and talk about that in just a moment, okay?
Okay.
All right. In just a moment, we're talking with Robin McGinnis. She's the Chief Executive Officer of Caring Connection. Sorry about that. I'm the clock.
You're amazing.
All right.
Amazing.
We'll be right back.
I'm watching you.
It's the WSJM Morning Show.
And I have better coverage and I save money, and that makes me so happy.
IMS, an auto owner's insurance agency in St. Joseph and Niles.
We take it for granted. Flip on the switch and the lights come on. But do you ever think about where that power comes from? They do at Cook Nuclear Plant. Every day, hundreds of employees help make sure that power output remains constant. Beyond transmission lines, Cook is connected to the community in many ways, like corporate sponsorships, employee volunteering, and Heart of Cook grants and scholarships, striving to be good stewards of our neighborhoods and our environment. They know the power of community.
Cloudy skies today. We'll see rain showers for the first half to 3/4 of the day. Those will taper off this afternoon. And temperatures will be in the 30s to start. We'll warm up into the mid and upper 40s this afternoon. As we head into tonight, scattered rain showers down to 35 and a rain-snow mix tomorrow with a high of 40. I'm WSBT 22 Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
Yeah, good food is always good. Yeah. All right, we're back on the WSJM Morning Show. Good morning, I'm Ken Lundberg. It's 7:18 on Wednesday, February 26th. Our in-studio guest this morning is Robin McGinnis with the Caring Connection. She's the Chief Executive Officer, and we're talking just a little bit about some of the things that are under the umbrella organization of Caring Connection. And one of the things that you were just talking about, the 3 locations for the Adult Day Center, and that is for adults who, in some cases, may even have dementia, and they just need somewhere to be during the day while their primary caregivers maybe are at their day job.
Correct.
And so tell us a little bit more about some of the other things that are under the umbrella of Caring Connection.
We also have a robust guardianship program, so we provide services where we pay, help manage and pay for people's bills, make sure they don't miss their rent and aren't homeless. And we provide a lot of support for those people. Yeah. We have something called Safe and Secure, which we really focus on vulnerable seniors. And the biggest program that we have under Safe and Secure is our program where we help people who have issues with hoarding.
Oh.
Hoarding is a huge issue that goes under the radar.
Wow.
And we have people, we'll go in, if somebody will allow us to go into their home, to literally help them clean out their homes. And there are many stories with that.
I have seen the shows Hoarding.
Yes.
And it's not pretty.
It's dangerous. There's a lot of safety issues.
Yeah.
And it is for some people, it's a mental health issue where they have obsessive compulsive disorder and won't let go of their belongings.
Yeah. So is that a big issue here in Southwest Michigan?
It's a big issue everywhere. But yes, we get referrals. Right now we have 23 people that we're working with to help them clean out their homes.
Really?
Yes.
How do you, I'm curious just about this piece. I know you do a lot of great work, and we'll talk about that. But on this one in particular, I'm curious about this. How do you start with somebody who has that? whether it's a mental compulsion or whatever. I don't know what else it would be.
We have a wonderful director who works hard at trying to create a relationship. So we get referrals from law enforcement, from human services,
Family,
from
probably.
a variety of people.
Yeah.
People call and say, "Oh, I can't get into my mom's house." So we spend time trying to create a relationship. Many people won't let us in.
Right.
So we'll keep working at some point we say, okay, let us know if you want our help.
Yeah.
But we are working with 23 people, as I said, and we have the ability to go into their homes. We have every imaginable tool, whether it's PPE, bed bug machines, all kinds of things where we'll literally go in and little at a time we get them to allow us to remove some of their items.
What is a bed bug machine?
It's a big oven, and we literally put items inside and we kill the bugs.
Oh my goodness.
It's
Does it pretty much kill anything you put inside of it?
Roaches as well, but the bed bugs.
Wow.
I give a lot of credit to our staff who will
Yeah.
go in there because the mice, the rats, the bugs,
Yeah.
the mold is amazing.
I was just going to say we breezed over just a little bit the safety issues. Maybe talk about what are those when people have a hoarding addiction, if you can call it an addiction, there are safety issues, and a lot of them, I assume, deal with health. If all of them.
Absolutely. So again, we find that many of them are professionals or retired professionals or still working, and again, just make excuses why they won't let anyone come over.
Yeah.
But oftentimes we'll go in and there's just a little path maybe to the kitchen, to the bathroom. There's falling issues. We recently were allowed into someone's home, and we started moving boxes away from the wall, and the black mold of this entire wall was frightening.
Wow.
And she has a handicapped adult child in the home who's there 24 hours a day in this black mold.
Breathing that in.
And so there are a lot of issues that we find.
Yeah.
And it's... I think once we help them come to terms with some of the issues, it helps them let go of the things. But it is a long-term issue, and it takes a lot of patience and a lot of caring from our wonderful staff.
Yeah. You have success stories?
We do have some success stories.
Good.
Yes.
Good. All right. Well, if anyone needs any help with that, Caring Connection can guide you to the right resource. Okay.
Absolutely.
And that's just other things that are under the umbrella before we get into the let's just get into the letter that you sent to the community. This was an open letter that Robin McGinnis, the CEO of Caring Connection, sent to the community. We received it, and we reached back out and talked to you a little bit about it. But let's talk more. February 17th, you sent a note to the community titled "Caring Connection is worried." And if I can, I'm just going to read the first paragraph off of that. And it starts out, "We are worried. Caring Connection has been part of Southwest Michigan for more than 130 years. We have been known by many names: Children's Home Society, Child and Family Services, Avenue Family Network, and now Caring Connection. No matter our name, since 1891, we've been dedicated to caring for you and your family. We are part of the community tapestry. You've relied on us, and we have relied on you, our friends and neighbors, to support us. We are worried." Why are you worried?
80% of our funding comes from the state of Michigan, which is a pass-through from the federal government. If we lose any of that funding, we will likely have to close some or all of our programs. For most of our services, we do not charge anything to the families. So we are here to provide support. And no matter what the political persuasion that somebody is, it's about the community. It is a very scary time for all of us in the nonprofit world, where we're not in it for the money. We are in it because we care about the community. And if we do lose this funding, we will end up not being able to provide the very needed services here in Southwest Michigan for your family, for your neighbor, for your friends.
Yeah. Yeah. What would people do then? What would happen in these situations where you mentioned the hoarding, you mentioned the daycare for adults, you mentioned the crisis centers where people who are sexually or physically abused, where they're going right now? What would happen?
I'm not sure where they would go. If we end up closing the Empowerment Center, which is a 23-bed shelter in Benton Harbor, where we provide services at no cost to anyone, male or female. At any one time in our 23-bed shelter, we may have 10 to 12 children. So we serve families. I'm not sure where these people will go. They're coming to us because they're frightened. They need safety. And we provide the support and encouragement to help them. If we close that shelter, I'm not sure where they'll be on the streets. They will be living in their cars, and they will continue to experience abuse.
Yeah, 80% of your funding.
80% of our funding comes from a pass-through from the federal government to Caring Connection.
What has been the reaction to your note so far?
I must really compliment United Way, Berrien Community Foundation, Corewell Foundation. They have been so incredibly supportive. We've gotten many calls. We have a large grant with the Michigan Health Endowment Fund. They've all called to say, what can we do to support you and help you? And that's rewarding. It's just a time where we don't have any answers. That's the scariest part. Last night when the House passed a kind of a roadmap of how they're going to cut Medicaid, that is really our bread and butter. So we're not sure what's going to happen and how those cuts will be initiated. We also have a wonderful support system. We have the Women's Auxiliary, which has been around for over 100 years. They have called me continually. What can we do to support you? How can we help you? And we work very closely with them. It's a dedicated, mostly women. There's about 50 of them, and they do mostly fundraising for us. And they are having a big fundraiser coming up. But we really need the community to recognize that not only Caring Connection, but all not-for-profits will suffer if these cuts are really implemented.
Yeah, the House bill that you mentioned last night, that's the budget blueprint. The U.S. House of Representatives voted on it last night. Contains about $4.5 trillion in tax breaks and $2 trillion in spending cuts. So both U.S. Representatives Tim Walberg and Bill Huizenga voted in favor. Have you had any contact with their offices?
Yes, I have.
How has that gone? Where do you start?
I have spoken to representatives here locally in their Holland office, as well as in D.C., and they guaranteed me that Congressman Huizenga supported Medicaid and would not vote against it.
Okay. Huh. How do you feel after last night's vote?
I'm not surprised, actually.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I try not to be too political because we really want to focus on the needs of the community.
Right.
But what is happening politically affects all of us that live in Southwest Michigan and all over Michigan.
Yeah. Can you describe the funding situation for Caring Connections? How is it set up? And I mean, do you have some big, huge reserve to lean on if the funding spigot drops off?
Well, like most not-for-profits, we don't have the reserves. Quite a few years ago, prior to my joining Caring Connection, which is 3.5 years ago, they were not granted a big grant through the state for the domestic violence shelter. And the board was so committed to providing those services, all the reserves have gone towards supporting the domestic violence shelter or the empowerment center. Yeah. So the reserves are gone. That is all grant funded, passed through from the state of Michigan, from the federal government. Again, everyone at the Division of Victim Services has been supportive. We hear a lot of support from Governor Whitmer, but we are all grant funded in that. We do have some significant contributions through Berrien Community Foundation, but it wouldn't be enough to keep that shelter open. It costs us about $900,000 a year to run the shelter.
$900,000 a year.
That's correct.
Okay. And that serves how many people?
We have 23 beds, 24-hour staff, a hotline. We have a go-out team that if there's a call of a sexual assault or a violent act, we work with Corewell Health. We get called to the emergency room, and our team will go out any time of the day or night to go and support and advocate for victims.
Okay. We're talking with Robin McGinnis, Chief Executive Officer of Caring Connection. It's an umbrella organization that has a lot of services that are in our community. We'll continue talking a little bit more about the financial situation and some of the services they provide or might not be able to provide given the current budget discussions that are happening in Washington, D.C. That's coming up right here on the WSJM Morning Show. We're on the video live stream as well. We'll continue our interview there. If you have any questions or comments, you can feel free to put them in at YouTube or Facebook. We're there. We'll take a look at them in just a moment right here on WSJM.
What would you call a...
That must be difficult. We're back on the video live stream. That must be difficult to straddle the line of trying not to be political.
It's difficult for me personally, yes.
You take a deep breath and you think about it, the elections from November, there was a sea change in what happened with the administration, with the Senate. The House was already controlled by Republicans. So what do you do? How do you take that message, and how do you work through the channels that you need to work through to make sure that your funding streams are still there?
That's a great question. I try and remain bipartisan because clearly what we do is bipartisan.
Right.
It affects everyone, no matter who they vote for, what color they claim to be, whether they're independents or Republicans or Democrats. It affects everyone. So we try to message the important things, which is we provide services for everyone in the community. We do not discriminate against anyone. And again, most of our services are free. We get a lot of referrals from Area Agency on Aging, from Riverwood, from Van Buren Mental Health for our Adult Day Center. But it's an important program because caregivers for the Adult Day are struggling themselves. They're losing their jobs. They're having to stay home. They're frightened for the person that they love. So we're messaging as openly and as honestly as we can that it doesn't make a difference who you voted for, but this is affecting your family, your neighbors, your friends.
Have you seen any money stop yet?
We have not.
Okay.
We have not, but we don't know going forward what's going to happen. There were some federal grants I was in the midst of applying for and got noticed. Don't even bother.
Okay.
They've been pulled.
Yeah, and that was the thing that I think sent shivers through a lot of the nonprofit community was when there was that day. I'm sure you remember it.
Oh, yes.
The day when all grants, all loans rescinded, pull it all back.
That's
and
correct.
Then within 24, 48 hours, it was reversed. But what did that do? What did that one day do as far as what you were thinking about?
It woke me up, to be perfectly honest. I knew that there were some risks, and I got a wonderful call from Lisa Cripps Downey from the Berrien Community Foundation first thing in the morning and said, "Robin, how is this going to affect you?" And I said, actually, I'm not sure. I'm going to have to do some more research, and we'll have to figure this out. Again, she's been so incredibly supportive. We just have to band together and message. We don't know how it's going to affect us, to be perfectly honest. There's just too many open questions at this point in time.
Yeah. So how do you operate that way?
We've decided we just need to move forward.
Yeah.
The board of directors that we have are very supportive. The op-ed that I penned was sent to them and for approval. They all signed on to it. And we've decided we're just going to continue doing what we know how to do, which is to provide quality services for the community.
Yeah, we're talking with Robin McGinnis. She's the Chief Executive Officer of Caring Connection. And you've got a couple of fundraisers coming up. We'll talk about them more in detail, but maybe just let's give the highlights. What's coming up?
So on March 16th, we have the auxiliary is having a give back night at Planks. It's a Sunday evening. They're going to give us 50% back. And they're asking for reservations. It's a big fundraiser for the auxiliary, who really puts most of their funds in support to the Empowerment Center, the program for domestic violence and sexual assault. We also have another fundraiser for the Empowerment Center. Again, the most expensive program to run, all free, and that is at Hidden Point on April 24th. It's a comedy night. It's our second one. We had so much fun last year, and so those tickets are available on our website.
Okay, so and your website?
It's www.caringconnectionmi.org.
Okay. I'm looking at it right now. I like the color scheme, too. This is a really good website.
Thank you.
All right. We'll be back with more in just a minute. We're talking with Robin McGinnis about Caring Connection. It's the WSJM Morning Show.
28. The NASDAQ fell 261. This morning, the futures are pointing to a higher open. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
7:35, it's the WSJM Morning Show. Good morning, I'm Ken Lundberg. Here we've got 35 degrees in Benton Harbor. It's 34 degrees and cloudy in St. Joseph. What in the world? 34 degrees in South Haven. And I'm looking at the weather thing that I have here in front of me, and it says expect some snow in the next hour. How in the world is that even possible?
That's ridiculous.
What are they talking about? We had sunshine and beautiful temperatures. Anyway, so some sort of precipitation. Maybe it's going to be snow. I don't know how it even, yeah. The weather people, they astound me. They just come up with these new things all the time. 50 degrees today, snow tomorrow. I guess that's Michigan.
As long as it doesn't stick, I'm okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Make it look pretty and then just keep the roads just fine. All right, so mostly cloudy skies today, a 60% chance of some sort of precipitation. Maybe it's going to be snow. Well, I don't know. But we're going to get a high around 50 degrees, so there's no chance for that snow to stick around. Southeast winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight's forecast, mostly cloudy, a 20% chance of rainfall this evening, low around 35, and northwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Got to look out the window. I mean, snow within the next hour. This one says heavy snow. Well, we'll look out the window. If you're seeing snow, just comment on the video live stream. Thursday's forecast, mostly cloudy and cooler, a 30% chance of scattered rain snow showers, a high around 40, and west winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. The extended forecast Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're looking at some partly sunny skies all 3 days. Breezy and mild, a high today, or a high Friday of around 53 degrees. A high Saturday, it's going to cool down quite a bit to 33 degrees. And then Sunday, we're going to stick around that 35-degree mark for a high. Precipitation, maybe just a bit of a chance on Saturday, but that's it. All right, it's the WSJM Morning Show, 7:37. We'll continue our conversation with Robin McGinnis from Caring Connection. That is coming up in just a moment. We've got sports with Brett Witkowski, who's filling in for Dave Wolf, after a look at state news.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. President Trump will hold his first full cabinet meeting today, and the White House confirms Elon Musk will be there as experts in his Department of Government Efficiency quit in protest.
More than 21 computer engineers and project managers who worked with Doge resigning in protest. They had worked for the U.S. Digital Service, which Doge replaced. In a letter saying we will not use our skills as technologists to jeopardize Americans' sensitive data or dismantle critical public services. We will not lend our expertise to carry out or legitimize Doge's actions.
ABC Chief White House Correspondent Mary Bruce. 3 senior Ukrainian officials say the U.S. and Ukraine have reached an agreement on a framework for a broad economic deal that would include access to Ukraine's rare earth minerals. Ukrainian President Zelensky is scheduled to visit the White House later this week. This is Pope Francis's 13th day in the hospital. The Vatican says he had a quiet night as he recovers from pneumonia. This is ABC News.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
Sorry, I got to get back on the air here and do this thing. No, it's 7:39. It's the WSJM Morning Show. Good morning. We're having a great conversation with Robin McGinnis. She's the CEO of Caring Connection here in Southwest Michigan. They do a lot of services. If you're just picking up into the conversation, they're concerned about their funding because a lot of the money they get through is federal funds that get passed through the state that come down here that basically provide safety net services for a growing population. And part of their concern is that funding could just dry up maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, maybe next month. So we'll talk about that and continue talking about that in just a few minutes right here on the WSJM Morning Show. Some of the news that we're following from the WSJM newsroom this morning, we've been talking about it this morning, but plans are coming together to reduce traffic congestion around Silver Beach in St. Joseph this summer. One of the solutions that they're putting into their plan, they think, is to turn Broad Street below the bluff into a one-way traffic street. One way. So it's not two-way, it's one way. They'll get 2 lanes of traffic moving down toward the beach. They're also thinking about making some landscape changes, take some of the sidewalks out and put landscaping in so that the pedestrians don't keep crossing the street back and forth and holding up traffic that way. which I guess would probably be annoying if you were trying to get down to the beach. So we'll talk about that coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. We'll give you the update as it was told before the City Commission in St. Joseph. Also, Holtec International and Hyundai Engineering held a press conference yesterday up in Covert. They say they're getting ready to manufacture and build some small modular nuclear reactors at Covert. It's part of a project that they say could be in place by the end of 2030. So we'll tell you a little bit more about what that means for our region. And then also, as we've been talking about, the U.S. House of Representatives last night approving a budget blueprint that seeks to deliver $4.5 trillion in tax breaks and $2 trillion in spending cuts. We'll hear from area Congressman Tim Walberg on what that means to him. That's coming up in just a few moments at 8 o'clock right here on the WSJM Morning Show. It's 7:41. More of our conversation with Robin McGinnis from Caring Connection continues right now on our video live stream. Sports coming up after this from around the state.
The Michigan News Network.
Okay, and we were talking just a second ago, and my apologies, I made light of the hoarding situation, saying, hey, if they have any Harley Davidsons or guitars, let me know. No, but no, I mean, hoarding is it's a mental condition in many cases.
In many cases, it's obsessive compulsive disorder where they're afraid to let go of their items.
Yeah, and so it's not just a health hazard. It's not just a organization hazard, but it's something that is long term and has to be dealt with by the person who's doing it.
Yes, it is a long term. Very carefully, we have to create a relationship with the individual if we can.
Yeah.
Many people don't even let us into their homes. So we have worked with a woman whose daughter had moved to another state. She wanted her mom to move with her. She had been in her home for 23 years and a 3-bedroom home and had not let anyone in that house in 20 years.
You're kidding, 20 years?
20 years. She had a room full of just adult diapers. And the mice inside the boxes of diapers was such a danger for her. So the good thing is, after months of working with her, she has now moved in with her daughter.
Oh, wow.
So she is now with her daughter, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
I think she's much happier.
You know, and again, you know, it astounds me. Like, I'm just wondering, where do you even start with something like that? But you mentioned that it takes a long time. Do you have, I mean, how many staff would typically work on a situation like that? I assume it starts with one caseworker, but then it grows from there.
We have one director who does a great job in doing the original or initial contacts. And then we basically have up to 3 part-time staff who will go in at various hours with the person's permission to allow us to help them clean out their home.
Do you ever have to condemn a home?
I don't believe we've done that yet.
Okay.
But we have had referrals from various cities. So we're in all 3 counties in Southwest Michigan.
But that's a tool on the table.
It certainly could be. I was mentioning off the air that we had moved some boxes from a wall from somebody's home, and the black mold on this person's home was very dangerous.
Yeah. Well, a health hazard. Okay, we're talking with Robin McGinnis, Caring Connection, and I knew it as the Cora Lamping Center. It's now called the Empowerment Center.
That's correct.
Can you describe for people who don't know, what is that facility and who's there, and what's the occupancy rate on a given day?
So the former Cora Lamping Center, now called the Empowerment Center, is a 23-bed shelter, emergency shelter for intimate partner violence, which means that it's somebody that they've been in a relationship with within the last 2 years. At any one time, we have 10 to 12 children that are living in the shelter with their parent or guardian. We are full almost all the time. We have 24-hour staff. We provide advocacy, legal support, free counseling, you name it, whatever we need to do to support those individuals to make some healthy choices. We empower them to take control of their lives.
It's not a long-term stay.
It is not
It's
a
not
long-term
intended to
stay.
be.
Traditionally, people will stay 90 days, let's say. I think the biggest issue for us, which I think everybody understands, is housing is so difficult here in Southwest Michigan, especially for moms who have 2 or 3 children. So finding an apartment that's affordable for them. Again, they're getting some kind of public assistance, and we work in collaboration with other nonprofits here to find them a safe environment. But oftentimes they stay a long period of time because we can't find them the right safe housing.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that what got me when I first learned about the center when it was still the Cora Lamping Center is the people who are in need of that service. They're living in a situation many times where they could be suffering some sort of domestic violence.
Correct.
And they feel they can't leave that situation because where would they go? Their friends won't take them in. Maybe they have family, they can't take them in, so they have nowhere else to go. So they feel trapped there, or they suffer additional threats if they are to leave.
Correct.
And so at that moment when they are finally empowered to leave, they leave. They've got their children with them, and you offer them a place to stay for 90 days, which seems to some people, 90 days. That's a lot of time.
Longer. We do keep them.
Or longer to get back on your feet to find a place. But like you said, finding a place, especially if you're work challenged, if you're not working, that can be incredibly difficult, if not impossible.
Or if you don't have transportation, so you have to live in a more urban area here rather than being able to go to more rural area where we could find housing.
Right.
But then how are they going to work unless they're doing something, online?
Right.
So it's difficult.
Yeah.
It's a very difficult situation.
Okay. That's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
Yeah. We'll continue this conversation in just a moment with Robin McGinnis about Caring Connection. They have adult day services as well. Maybe we can talk through a little bit more of that for those who weren't able to catch what that is and what that's for, and who's taking who has an opportunity to take advantage of that, and what kind of you look for. What's the situation where you might need that kind of help?
Okay.
We'll talk about that in just a moment right here on WSJM.
The complete renovation work. Yes, all of the work, so you can hire one company to be responsible for the design, the materials, and the labor. Everything from demolition to completion. So if you're looking for a company that will assist you through the detailed process to be sure your investment is everything that you dreamed it to be, stop by or give us a call. Final Design, Kitchen and Bath in St. Joe.
Cloudy skies today. We'll see rain showers for the first half to 3/4 of the day. Those will taper off this afternoon. And temperatures will be in the 30s to start. We'll warm up into the mid and upper 40s this afternoon. As we head into tonight, scattered rain showers down to 35 and a rain-snow mix tomorrow with a high of 40. I'm WSBT 22 Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
Just taking a quick look. Well, first off, the time is 7:48. The temperature is 35 degrees in Benton Harbor, 34 in St. Joseph, and 34 in South Haven. Looking at the video live stream right now, Alex says good morning. Diane says good morning. Teresa says good morning. And I think Teresa reacting to the possibility of maybe some precipitation in the form of snow for a few minutes this morning, which is what one of the weather apps was saying is that's Michigan for you, LOL. So anyway, and John says good morning. He's dialing in from Tennessee, but he says, how y'all doing? Blank, blank snow, but not in the mid-south. So I don't know. Anyway, it's the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg, 7:49. We've got our Moody on the Market update coming up in just a moment. We're talking right now with Robin McGinnis. She is the CEO of Caring Connection in Southwest Michigan. And you serve 3 counties?
We do.
Berrien, Cass, Van Buren County.
That is correct.
And one of the services that you provide is adult day services. We've talked about it just briefly, but for those who might have missed it, can you explain what is adult day service and who is a candidate for that?
Adult day services is for anyone 18 and older who may have a physical disability, a mental health disability, or challenge. We serve a lot of people that are challenged with dementia,
yes,
whether it's Alzheimer's or some kind of cognitive issues. So we provide a social environment for them where we're doing support, we're doing exercise, we're providing breakfast, lunch, and snacks. And it's a day program where the caregivers can safely feel that the loved ones that they have are being taken care of and monitored while they can have some kind of life outside of caregiving.
Yeah. So who would be a candidate for that? At what point, having personal experience, my mother with dementia, there was a time where I thought everything was normal, and then you started to see things slip a little bit, and maybe bills didn't go out, or maybe bills were paid more than once a lot of times. And thank goodness for the kind people in Berrien County. They'd send notes back saying, you already paid this, tear up your check. But I mean, who is a candidate for the adult day service, especially if they're dealing with the onset of dementia?
We see a lot of people with dementia. We see families who will call us and say, my mom, my husband, my brother is really struggling, and I'm afraid to leave them at home.
Yes.
So it's really for people who really need some safe, monitored environment that's socially stimulating. When people stay home that have cognitive problems or dementia, the isolation increases potentially their difficulty in monitoring and managing themselves.
Yes.
Somebody that I know, she called me recently and said, my husband has early onset of Alzheimer's and just started a fire in our house. He forgot that he had something on the stove, and I got called by the fire department. I'm frightened. And I said to her, we will provide that service for him. It doesn't have to be all day. If you just want him to come in part of a day, a couple days a week, whatever it is to support you. It's the caregivers that really suffer the most. And we have a program that's free. It's called Savvy Caregiver Educational Program. We're providing it at all three of our sites, and we're doing it online. Again, people can check our website. It's an evidence-based program to help support the caregiver, help them understand what dementia is all about, and how we can support them while they're being providing the services for the ones that they love.
That makes a lot of sense because, again, there wasn't a handbook in how to deal with parents who are going into mental decline.
Correct.
And so once you start researching and finding all the different resources, but if you've packaged it up and you're helping people understand that, that's great.
Yes. It's an evidence-based program created at Emory University in Atlanta. So we're very excited about providing that, and that's been with the support of Area Agency on Aging.
I've got to do the Moody on the Market update, and what I like to do, especially when we have guests in studio, is make this part of the Moody on the Market update. So why don't we talk about volunteer services in a moment? But this is your Moody on the Market update for today, this hour anyway. The update is brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today, your local auto owner's insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles. We're talking with Caring Connection CEO Robin McGinnis, and one of the things that you rely upon heavily is volunteers.
Correct.
And so you want to talk a little bit about volunteers? What do you need and what do they do?
The volunteers really tailed off during COVID. So volunteers can come to our domestic violence shelter. We will provide all kinds of support and training. Again, as I mentioned, we have 10 to 12 children there at any one time of all ages. We have infants. We have teenagers coming in and doing a cooking class with the kids, making cookies, doing art projects.
Wait a sec. I can make cookies?
You could make, and you can eat them as well.
Oh,
yes.
Fantastic. They might not make it into the oven. Sorry, go.
So there's all kinds of support services.
Yeah.
At our adult day centers, people can come in with some training after we do a review to do some games with people. So any kind of support that we can get. The other thing that we really need help with is our fundraisers. So the one that we're having at Hidden Point on April 24th, helping us really work that event would be very appreciated.
Okay, and that's a comedy night. So if you like comedy and you want to take part by volunteering at that fundraiser on April 24th at Hidden Point, the money that's raised goes to the Empowerment Center. You can be a volunteer on that comedy night.
It's a fun night. It's our second time. They're called Bad Moms of Comedy. We had so much fun last year. We had 125 attendees. We're hoping to have 150 this year. We have food trucks. We have wonderful raffle prizes and activities, and we are just hoping people will come and support the Empowerment Center.
And that's at Hidden Point. It's coming up on April 24th. Where can people get tickets and more information about that fundraiser?
You can go on our website. Again, that's caringconnectionmi.com.
.org. Yep.
Right. And the tickets are available there, information. You can also reach out to Loretta Hillock, who is our development assistant, and she can give you information.
I love it. Can we volunteer to do the comedy to be funny?
Come on. You're welcome.
I'm not a bad mom of comedy, but it could be funny. That's our Moody on the Market update for today. It's brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today, your local auto owner's insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Nas. You better not get me sick. It's Wednesday, February 26th. No, you're fine. It's 7:55. We'll be back in just a couple of moments with more right here on the WSJM Morning Show. News is coming up from ABC at 8 o'clock. We'll have our local news following that.
Insurance Management Service is your local auto owner's insurance agency in St. Joseph and Niles.
I've worked with IMS for, 2 or 3 years now, and they are just...
For those, are you good? No, go ahead. Take a drink. Take a drink because you're coughing and I'm just going to keep talking. For the volunteers for your comedy show, what are you expecting them to do? What will they be able to do?
So we have secured 2 food trucks. Will be parked outside, obviously.
Yeah.
We are hoping to get some food runners who can, when people order the food, we'll have a number, and then they can bring the food in so people don't have to wait outside.
Yeah.
We have raffle items, not auctions, not silent auction, but really large raffle prizes. So we really want people to look at what we're offering. Every package will be over $500. No, we're not finished with it yet.
All right. Any guitars or Harley Davidsons?
I'm working on that for you.
Okay. All right. Excellent. No, I'm a sucker for the silent auction, but the raffle, that's fun too.
Yes.
That's fun too. And then let's see. There was another thing I was going to ask you about. The locations, and that you've got a number of different locations. Let's see. The administrative offices are on Riverview Drive. Yeah, so really, I think the best thing that people can do is probably go to your website and find out what they're looking for.
Correct.
To get more information. Okay, good. What do you do for fun?
Me personally?
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the right spot. No, I have a lot of friends that live in South Haven, and
yeah.
Actually, I love to cook, and that's probably my most fun thing to do.
What do you like to cook?
Middle Eastern food.
Oh, that sounds good.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I have Middle Eastern background, so I have gotten my very Irish husband to really enjoy that food.
I'll probably pronounce it wrong, but do you have a tagine?
I do have a tagine.
Okay, and I love cooking in mine. It makes I used to eat meat and I used to cook chicken in it, and now I'm a pescatarian, so I cook vegetable stuff in it. It's just a wonder to cook in it, and
it is wonderful.
And I think the best thing about it is everything you cook in it, if you keep the lid on, keeps it moist.
Yes,
it's so good.
Yes. Is yours clay? A really big clay one?
It's a really big, it's like an Emile something or other. And I think it's clay, but it's got a finish on it.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But I've seen some people put like water in the top of it. Do you ever do that in the little cup?
Yes.
Are you supposed to do that?
You can.
If it's porous, it makes sense. But mine doesn't seem to be porous. I don't know.
I soak mine.
Oh, do you?
Because it's porous.
Okay.
It's clay.
So you have one of the real traditional ones. Okay. All right. We'll be right back in just a moment and conclude this interview on the WSJM Morning Show.
Feel at ease with McGee's. Call today for your estimate. Feel at ease with McGee's.
From the Pat Moody Studios, this is WSJM FM Benton Harbor, St. Joseph, a product of Midwest Family Marketing and Media. Proudly serving our community. The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
7:58, it's WSJM Morning Show. Good morning, I'm Ken Lundberg. Thank you so much for joining us. We've got ABC News, world and national news is coming up in just a moment. Then we'll have the latest from our local news. We've got a lot of things to talk about. We've had Robin McGinnis here in the studio for the last hour, and it's been a joy to talk with you about Caring Connection. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Any last things that you want people to know about Caring Connection?
Reach out to your elected official, especially congressional. Let them know that the funding cuts that they are planning will affect everybody, not just it's everybody. It's children, it's seniors, it's people that need the extra support. So please let them know that you don't support, hopefully, Medicaid and Medicare cuts. And please to start paying the grant funding that we have been awarded.
Okay. All right, well said. We will, and we'll talk to our members of Congress as well about the budget that they just passed last night, because there are a lot of concerns out there, like yours.
Tremendous.
And, so it's an open debate. We'll talk about it. We'll have folks in here on both sides of the issue. It's the WSJM Morning Show. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you very much for coming in today,
Thank you so much
Robin.
for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. It's 8 o'clock. News is right now. Local news next.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. In a couple of hours.
Okay, a quick goodbye to the folks on the video live stream. For more information about how they can take advantage of your services, Robin, I think just send them to the website.
Just send them, yes. Come to the website. Our numbers are on there. We have a hotline for the domestic violence shelter. That's 24 hours. So please give us a call for any questions you might have.
CaringConnectionMI.org.
Correct.
CaringConnectionMI.org. Robin, thanks again. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for the invite. I appreciate it.
You bet. We'll talk soon. All right. See you tomorrow on the video live stream.
Workers to list their accomplishments in the past week or lose their jobs.
More than